we're doing like 60 plus DPS or more. I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is my modded adventure. What all are we going to do today? Well, I have some plans. I want to dive into how we upgrade our current gear using Apotheosis, but there's a few other things that I want to get done. I want to play around with the shrink mod. So we do have the shrink mod in here, and I should have used this a while ago, but basically the shrink mod is going to allow me to go tiny mode. And now that we have the charging, it should just charge in my inventory and always stay charged. This is pretty cool. We can lower our size all the way down to this. And if we hold down shift and click, well, we are now tiny chosen. I love this. The possibilities with this really are endless, but as you can also enlarge mobs and you can enlarge yourself. But the cool part about this is we can fit in a single block space, which allows me to set up wiring a lot easier. Now, notice I can peek through the walls, which is a little bit of a problem. And to prevent that, I found that if we set this to at least like 5, then it's not as noticeable. And you still fit through everything. But if you want to prevent the clipping, yeah, set it to 5. Don't go any lower. So what exactly am I doing with this? Well, I want to run some cables under this area, and I want to hook in a couple of things. Now, there's a couple of new things that I learned about sophisticated storage recently, and I definitely want to share it with you guys. But in this room, we have 3 different types of containers. We have a sophisticated storage container, which is this one right here. We also have the barrels, the functional storage right here, which is its own separate thing. And then we also have a storage lectern, which in my opinion is its own sort of storage. Now, in reality, hooking all of these up, we could just route to every single individual container and do that. But I'm thinking that what we can do instead is sort of in the middle here, we can set up the 3 different types of storage. Well, at least for this one actually will need to be hooked in directly. But the cool part is we don't have to hook into any of these storages. We just hook directly into the storage lectern. And when I say hook into, I mean using refined storage. But this is where these storages are a little bit different. I don't want to have to reach up there. So this is where the controller, for at least for functional storage. So there is a controller block in functional storage, and we should be able to hook into this storage, and this will allow us to connect to all of these inventories that are around. So that's pretty cool, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and set this down. We'll place it right here. It doesn't actually have to be connected, which is really nice, because what we're going to use is a linking tool. So we're going to shift right click on this, and then all we have to do is click this storage, and then click these storages right here to get them all hooked in. By the way, make sure this is set to swap add mode. There we go. And now we have all these drawers technically connected to this drawer, and all of the inventory is accessible via this drawer. Now, how do we do that with the sophisticated storage? Well, the cool part about sophisticated storage, believe it or not, is all of the storages that are connected to each other count as one centralized storage. It's pretty darn cool. So if you have a bunch of barrels that are all from sophisticated and they're all hooked together, you can use something called a storage controller as well. But there's also a storage link. So these are going to be used in a very similar way. So we're going to have a storage controller that essentially is going to hook to everything. So let's go ahead, and it looks like we need like any sort of storage, I think works. So a barrel, for instance, with a redstone torch will get us a sophisticated barrel. So yes, if I can get in this mod, there we go. So yes, the sophisticated, we are going to need that storage controller, and then the link. And now this isn't all though. There is still a little bit more that we need to do. We also need to make a storage tool. So now that we have these things, basically to link into this storage here, really what I need to do is I need to just access a side. And I think that is where being tiny is going to be very handy, because I can just pop in here and I can go ahead and place a storage link on the side. Now keep in mind, that if you have a bunch of these barrels connected to each other, the storage link will count all of those barrels. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that was a thing until just recently. But all we have to do is place the storage controller down here. And now to link, we just click this main storage, and then we click the storage we want to add. We click the storage link we want to add, because you can actually use multiple links. And so you see the laser now is connected, and these are now connected to each other. And this storage link now contains the items in that barrel. This is pretty darn cool. So the only thing we really need to do now is add some storage, external storages. And that should basically be it. And then we'll have all of this hooked together. Now, this is completely off topic from what I absolutely want to do today. Yeah, this was kind of neat, and I wanted to show it off at the beginning of today's video. Now, one other tip that I definitely want to mention, at least in the way that I have this set up, is for all of these storage controllers that we're going to be putting onto these things, we want to make sure that they're set up properly. And the way that I want to do this is I want to make sure these are set to a high priority. So I'm going to set them higher than everything else. And then I want to make sure that way it will only pull out of here if our main storage drives are empty. And then I also want to make sure this is set to only extract. That way it won't try to put items into these storages, because that would mess up the whole thing that we have going over here. So extract only means you can only pull out of them, never be able to put back in. So that has some downsides, but overall, this is going to be a really nice system, I think. So now with all of that plugged in, I should be able to see all of my mob drops now built up inside of all of my storages. So one thing that I can access is now this experience that I didn't have before. And so all of my Drigby drops are now connected to my refined storage system. How nice is this? By the way, some of you guys may be wondering also, how do you increase or decrease the size of mobs? Because that may not be very straightforward. And to do that, all we have to do is set our size. So we open this up, and then let's say we want to double the size, and we punch the mob. So now we got a big boy rat. And yes, you punch them again to shrink them back down. You can also make them incredibly tiny, or you can make them incredibly large, like 10. Oh boy, that's a big boy. That's a big rat. So yes, kind of interesting what can be done here with the shrink mod. It is kind of funny. You can even take these guys all the way down. This will be a really tiny rat. It's like a little speck on the screen. Oh boy. You can even do it with the test target dummy. Look how tiny this is. Now back into what today's video is truly about, and that is going to be upgrading our gear to make it as OP as possible. Because the one dimension that we haven't gone to yet is the Ratlantean dimension, and this could pose quite a threat, because this dimension houses some very powerful enemies. Supposedly, that is, because I have no idea, as I've never been to this dimension really. So how exactly should I be prepping myself? Well, there's a couple of items that we're going to need from Apotheosis. And this is how we're actually going to upgrade our gear, is directly with Apotheosis. So we are going to need a simple forge. That's one of the first things I'm going to need. And then that simple forge now gets upgraded using some arcane sands into a reforging table, which can take up to mythic in its rarity. It seems like the other one's only rare. And then we have the salvaging table. So all of these things combined will end up getting us the things we need. So how exactly is this going to work? So to get gem dust, right, which is one of the big components we're going to need, we actually need to break down some of our current gems. And this is where keeping gems is very important. Even though they may not be the best gems in the world, having them is still better than not. So we can take some of these, let's see, and make sure these aren't amazing things. It looks like these just give us some speed. These give us more speed. And this is gravity stuff. So yeah, these are all pretty lame. They're not the greatest upgrades in the world. So let's grab an anvil. And what we can do with a normal anvil is we can smash them. That's right. This is how you actually get the dust that you're going to use. And you're going to need quite a bit of it if you plan on making your own gear. So make sure your magnet's off. I want to toss these onto the ground and then drop an anvil on it. Nice. And there we go. So we get ourselves some gem dust. And this is just one of the many components that we're going to need, but it should allow us to make a salvage table. Now the salvage table is probably one of the most important things because it's going to allow us to get the dust that is used to even make these things. So salvaging table is a must. Looks like I need lava. Can I make lava? No, there is not. Man, I wish you could combine like the fire essences to make lava, much like you can do water. That would be nice. Surprise is actually not a part of it, especially with the elemental mod. All right, so now that we have all of these ingredients, let's go ahead and toss them in. We should be able to make the salvage table. So this is just, like I said, one component, but we also need this, which is going to require the enchanting table. Very nice. And I don't think we need to immediately use this, but we can go ahead and use this reforging table because we should have some gear. So if I take a look at the chest piece, I notice that this piece of gear right here it's already in the rarity that we need. And you'll notice that by the color, this is going to be an epic piece. And then this is going to be a common. And then the blue is going to be a rare piece. Now, I possibly have other components, but we'll be able to see with just this. If I put these in here, it's going to give me a chance of getting a certain amount of these upgrade materials. It says from 1 to 4, we will end up getting either 1 or up to 4 of these. So we got 3 on that go. And then this will give us the crystal shards, which is a rare material. And we got 4 out of that. And then this should give us the arcane sands, which is that epic material. We only got 1 of them. We're going to need more of them to be able to access this reforged table to be able to farm the things we're going to want to farm today. And so having these stations are going to be definitely worth it. A good way to actually search for these, I don't know if this is going to work, is by searching epic. And unfortunately that doesn't show up. So I don't really know if just searching epic works. Doesn't really appear to, or even searching colors. I think maybe Apotheosis. No. So really searching through gear could be kind of tough. Finding what pieces of what exist. Maybe sorting by quantity would be a good idea. And then doing ascending so you end up with all of your single items at the top. That could be a good way to filter out all of these items. And you'll see we do have a bunch of gear that has just fallen off of these enemies. So yes, I'm going to continue to grab as many of these things as I can. I don't think we have too many things that are like amazing, right? That are epic. So that's where the farming is really going to come into play. Ooh, this seems like a really good method of searching. I just searched sock, as in socket, and that really shows. Okay, so that is fantastic. We even end up finding the Skyroot pickaxe that is that is a, what is this called? This is a mythic? Yeah. So we have a mythic here, and yeah, this seems like a pretty decent way of searching for all of these pieces of gear. Now, to me, none of this gear is really worth like just keeping. So maybe except for this pickaxe, which even this pickaxe I kind of want to get rid of. So what I want to do is I want to farm as much of these sands as I possibly can. And so to be able to farm this, in reality, what I'm going to need to do is go to the end and farm boss mobs that spawn. It can be kind of a tedious process to do, but I think with our current gear, we should be able to take these things on and take them out very quickly. Oh, and one final thing, you should probably upgrade this real quick. And there we go. We have ourselves our upgraded reforging table. And this is how we're going to craft our gear, but we'll get into that a little bit. Let's get to farming. So I'm in the inn and I just seen the awoken and nearby message. And I think that, yes, this is it over here. And so it shouldn't be too difficult for us to take these guys out. Now they're going to come after us and they're going to have a lot of health. I feel like these, yeah, they're going to come back after us. I mean, we can pretty much one-shot most of these mobs anyways. Not the Apotheosis ones, but for example, this has 50 health. That guy's gone. 50 health. Because we hit for more than 50 damage each time we attack something. Oh yeah, this is great. Let it get trapped. If you can trap these, I think Cobweb is the best way to trap these guys. And then you can just take them on. I don't think there's a way to just like duplicate them and farm them that way. That would be really powerful. Now, something with a mob like this that could possibly help is also picking it up with a mob yoinker. It seems very cheesy, but we should be able to, I think, pick this up with a mob yoinker, take it underground, and, well, farm it this way because it won't be able to get out of the place that it's in. Oh, no, it can. It can phase right through the ground. No way. It just phased right through the ground. There it goes. So yeah, you can get it stuck and then just take it on this way. Very, very cheesy. As if it wasn't cheesy enough. This thing right here should hopefully drop some of that mythic. And that's what we really want. We really want mythic gear. So this is going to be a journey at farming this thing. But yes, it will take a bit of time. It looks like this guy is not taking very well to our spell damages. I wonder why. Let's try our upgraded sword. And it seems like this sword is dealing a bit more damage. There we go. Just gotta avoid its attacks. These guys are going to be some of the easiest to take on. Perfect. And just like this guy is gonzo. But we should have all of that awesome gear that it potentially dropped. Let's see. What did we get? Did it even drop any gear this time? Oh, no. Yes, it dropped an axe. Okay, so perfect. Nice. And it does seem like these guys are working. Like, they are spawning quite frequently, which is really great. Yep. Pretty straightforward. Ooh, I ended up finding this guy right here. Very dangerous, but I'm going to take him, and I'm going to take him on a little trip somewhere. Ooh, this looks pretty. There's clay here. Oh, wow, there's a lot of chests. Ooh, I'm going to take all the gems that are in these. Anything else special? A summoner's guide. I'll take that. Let's see, anything on the gear? Nope. Dragon scale, I'm always down to take those. And also music discs. Anything that I don't already have anyways. Ooh, this is a tableau challenge that can summon a raid. That's some nice loot in those chests. Ooh, and I'm getting totally distracted because there's another building over here that has more good loot in here. These capacitors are really worth it sometimes. Is there more loot chests in here? It leads up into a lectern. Oh boy, we're surrounded right now. Oh, at least my spells work on this from those guys. Now I need to figure out how do I go about killing this guy. This guy has so much armor. What? It's got a backpack. No way. It straight up has a backpack. And it's playing the worst song ever. I mean, we'll be able to almost one tap these guys soon, which will be really cool. I wonder what this guy's actually going to drop though. Okay, so we've got all these guys. They got their fighting spirit, that's for sure. These things are the scariest thing, the Vex. Oh gosh, because they can go through walls. The ender of hardcore runs. Yeah, pretty rough. Yeah, and it dropped some mythic pants. Oh, I hope we have enough mythic gear. This is going to be so nice. So now that I've farmed a little bit more of these guys, I think it might be time to head back and see what we got and see if we can't potentially transform some of our current gear into mythic gear. Oh God, that gun's horrifying. We got to get out of here. Before we go to crushing this gear and basically wipe all the enchants, we should definitely send it through our processor first to make sure we can get all of those enchants. So yeah, back to the enchantment extractor. I don't know about you, but I find this process to be insanely satisfying. Oof, so good. So good to just take all of these enchants, move it over into the enchanter. Got all of this gear that's going to get broke down. This process, honestly, is really fun to me. Now, this, in my opinion, is truly the fun part. Getting the salvage for all of our pieces. And the cool thing is we can actually put all of the pieces that can be salvaged in here, and we can do it all in one go. And so we ended up with these Godforged pearls, and we got 10 of them. Now we can also use the arcane sands. That's completely a thing as well. And so how do we do this? So we're actually going to need the Apotheosis dust that we got from the gyms. We're going to need some of this gym dust. Believe it or not, we're going to need quite a bit of it. That goes in here. And then we have the Godforged pearls. And then we can take a piece of gear, for example, our chest piece. And what we can do is, depending on how much of the experience we have, which is this number over here, which right now we only have 50, so we only have this first tier. Well, that determines which my GUI, which you would think would be small enough, it should tell me what all my things are. And there we go. Now we can sort of see everything that's on this gear. And you see that when attacked, we gain resistance. And this one is when attacked, gain bursting vitality. And then we also get 3 sockets. And this item ignores durability. So is that the best? I don't know. Some of these other things are pretty nice. So this is 31. This also gets explosive damage taken is reduced on the first one. And then this one right here, physical damage taken is reduced by 6%. Magic, this is like an overall resistance. And we also get 3 sockets, which is pretty nice. This like is a resistance to just about everything. But it does come with some drawbacks. If you look at the very bottom, it'll say enables elytra flight, right? And I would consider that a kind of a drawback. And then we also have -20 gravity. Those two things seem pretty rough. All of the things seem pretty rough. And honestly, enabling elytra flight, I mean, it sounds good in theory, but man, could be pretty rough. But we also need to look at the base stats of these things. So we'll also get plus 20% healing received, max health, max luck, extra armor, and all of those stats, in my opinion, really matter. The plus armor is really great. But man, I'm really iffy on that elytra. Now, one thing you may be wondering is, Chosen, where are you going to get your levels? Well, remember that farm that we put into the Aether? I think now is the time to use it. And I did make some subtle modifications to it. And if we look over here at our farm, we'll notice that I now have, well, let me turn this off. I now have an experience obelisk. And the funny thing is this is pretty full. And so this now has 631 levels. And so I can take or give multiple levels to this obelisk. So yeah, that could be one way that I handle this for sure. Now, the only downside is I don't think I can just pick that thing up and take it with me. And it contain all of its stored items though. So looking at this, it does look like I'm going to need more dust, because it does say, even though it's hard to see in the left, it says 5 dust and then 2 Godforged pearls. So these icons are telling us how many pearls we're going to need for this craft. And then the left is saying how many the right is saying how many enchantment levels we need. And then we also need a certain amount of gem dust, which means we have to break down gems. Oh boy, this will get kind of expensive very quickly. So we might end up just using whatever is up here on the top. And we might just use this. So when intact, inflict blindness, and this gives us a socket. It gives us some better armor and some health, more health. I will always take more health, which is really nice. Yeah, overall, this is pretty decent. I wonder if these reroll. So this one has insta health, fire damage taken is reduced, and which isn't really super useful for us. But overall, this is actually a really nice piece here. When attacked, we gain insta health. I mean, I don't think it gets better than that to get health whenever we're attacked. And we get bonus armor. And we get 4 health. And we get 2 sockets, which is really good. I'm going to actually take this on this piece. And so now our piece is converted. So that's pretty darn cool, right? And we can do the same thing with a sword. And I almost think that upgrading this sword would be pretty cool. Your attacks deal 6 damage to nearby enemies, and then mob drops will teleport you. I think the best one to get is like Pinata. You do not want the ancient knowledge though. If you get ancient knowledge on your sword, well, that's pretty gross. It's going to void the mob drops and give you XP instead on your next hit. So yeah, that is probably not a good idea to have that. And we'll need to keep an eye out, because you can get some like weird negative things. Like I said, I even think having the elytra on the chest piece is sort of a negative. Now it does seem like, because we spent some stuff on this, it does look like that also re-rolled the pull here. So our chest piece no longer has the enable flight with no gravity effect. This has a -30 gravity. I don't really want a negative gravity effect either. Now, when sorting through the gems to figure out what ones you want to convert into dust, I think going for the cracked versions, yeah, are probably going to be the best bet first, as, yeah, they seem like they're the one thing that has the lowest stats on that given set of gems. So yeah, this is going to be what I assume is the best way to handle this. So there we go. And we have ourselves 19 more dust. This is going to be pretty handy. Let's see. Do I really want all of the Godforged versions of my gear? That is something, though, that I just don't know. Let's see. This will be on our boots and will give us fall damage reduction, which is not a big deal for us. This will give us speed. All of those things, not a huge deal. And then on the helmet, magic reduction, and then magic reduction and inflicting blindness on our enemies. As far as what this gives us, it gives us some warding. This has more sockets on the 100, and then everything else seems the same except for, yeah, this actually seems like a pretty decent piece. So I'm going to take that. And then does this change anything on our gear here? We get 15 gravity. This one's really nice. Ooh, okay. So we get 20 healing. We also get bursting vitality for 10 seconds. Ooh, I mean, all of this seems really powerful. We haven't even socketed gems on it. And that completely ignored all of those other things. So on our boots, we might end up, well, we're going to need more gem dust, aren't we? Ooh, man, this starts to get really complicated once we get down into what jewels and everything we're going to be putting, or gems we're going to be putting on everything. Yeah, I've got to go with this on the boots. So we don't have a full epic set here, but man, on the rerolls on our sword, we might get something nice. Looks like this does 16 with the cold damage bonus. This, we could potentially get something nice. Actually, let's try this out here. And what do we get on our sword? All of these things are really nice. I really like the lifesteal, and the fact that we have more sockets could be a better choice overall to just make speed much faster on our sword. Oh man, all of these are really nice. I think this may be the best way to go here. Yeah, I'm actually going to hit that on the sword. And then our shield, technically, if we have the shield, we could potentially throw something on here. Upon blocking, inflict wither. Blocking deals 60% of the damage to the shooter. Oh, that could be super powerful. Okay. And then we upgraded that. I mean, honestly, we're looking pretty good and we haven't even socketed anything yet. So I did line out some gems from the ones that I currently have. And I'm hoping that I can put all of these on here because these all seem like the best I can do with the gems that I currently have. So we're going to definitely work with our sword first. And what I'm hoping is with the ballast gem and the flawed gem of the samurai and the brawler's gem, hopefully we can apply these different things. So by default on the light weapons, this is going to give me plus attack damage, supposedly, once this is crafted. And then this one is going to give me 40% crit, which is going to be hopefully just ridiculous. And then this is going to give me 25% attack speed. All of these things making this sword pretty darn good. Yeah, it's almost instant on the return. And all of these bonus stats are going to be just ridiculous. Now on the boots, I'm going to be basically applying a dodge chance. And then we're going to be applying a 40% speed. So yes, I am going to have to change my FOV because once we have speed, the 40% speed, that FOV is going quite ridiculous. I think even normal might be a little too much FOV. So let's reduce it down just a little bit more. That's even too much, man, all the way down to like 60. Yeah, well, I guess 40%, I guess we can reduce that. So that is almost done. And then we have our boots. Or our pants, sorry. These are going to take on the lower armor, which is going to give us 25% more speed. And then we're going to also have the core armor buff, which is going to give us toughness. So this is going to be a lot of speed. Hopefully not too much speed, as that can also be a bad thing. So this will take, let's take it all the way down to FOV 50. But this is how fast we are now. So that speed is actually really, really nice. Now on our chest piece, we're going to be doing our core. This is going to increase our physical damage taken reduced by 22%. And then this has 3 slots. So then we're going to be applying this, which will give us more armor toughness. And then this will be 6 health extra. So that'll give us even more hearts. And then we're going to do our helmet here. And then we're going to apply, this is going to go to the helmets, 15% to all stats. This is probably going to make us even faster on speed, potentially. And this will give us 12 extra attack damage. This is 12% attack damage. And then, last but not least, this is a special one. And this is going to be a unique. And this is going to do ignore 15% of magic damage and then heal for the same amount. So, yes, this already is incredibly powerful. Notice our bar down here is filled up. Because those stats all combined together with our health now give us a lot more health. Now to put this in perspective, oh boy, we're hitting for 46 damage. We're doing like 60 plus DPS or more. Oh boy, 80 DPS. This is so much nicer. Now with all of these stat increases, we are now getting pretty close to being OP. But there's still going to be some testing that needs to be done, and that is going to have to wait until next episode, where we hopefully fight some of the rat mod bosses, which are supposedly supposed to be pretty tough. I'm pretty excited, and we still have the deep dark to fully explore. Now that we're a bit more powerful, that's going to be much easier to accomplish. Guys, I thank you so much for watching today. If you did enjoy and you did learn something new, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And give this video a huge thumbs up. Guys, I appreciate you so much. And let's thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Mega. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over in the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. Guys, thank you so very much. I hope to see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.